always like a plan? Like, what was he just double agent the whole time, sleeper agent, waiting for the right sound to just, turn up? Let's grab the ISIS flag. He's been hiding in the basement all these years because he's had a pretty long run with us.
And as we just reached out to the U.S. Army from an Army spokesperson telling News Nation that Jabbar was a human resource specialist and an information technology specialist for 8 years, and then in the Army Reserve as an IT specialist for another 5 years. He also deployed to Afghanistan for a year. And at the end of his service, he held the rank of staff sergeant. Now, we are waiting to hear more from President Biden, potentially this evening, if he is going to share more. He said earlier he didn't want to comment until they got more of the facts. He was briefed this afternoon by members of his Homeland Security team. That included the FBI director, his Homeland Security secretary, as well as others on his Homeland Security team and National Security team. But we are waiting to hear from him himself, as we now are learning more developments throughout today. And President-elect Donald Trump, I do want to mention, also posted earlier today. He seemed to allude to that the suspect wasn't from the U.S., but it later was confirmed, of course, that he is a U.S. citizen from Texas. And Trump also called the attack an act of pure evil. Anna.
All right, News Nation's.
Yep, act of pure evil. Good thing he didn't spoke and say terrorism. And here's the thing, you know what? Well, I remember everybody on X was getting mad that they were saying, "Oh, he's a terrorist. He's a terrorist. What you mean, the ISIS flags and all?" And even the FBI was like, no, this is not a terrorist attack, because it can't be a terrorist attack because he's a U.S. citizen. I mean, even deeper, he even fought for U.S. He even fought for the U.S. Army. He's a vet. So what's going on here? Like I said, he could either be planted, I don't know, sleeper, and that's just, putting on your tinfoil hat right there, sleeper agent. But it kind of just sounds like my man was playing the longest double agent role. But to do this, though, when you think he'd wait for something bigger?
They have reported that ISIS flag was on the back of the pickup truck. You can see that in some of the images that have been taken of the white pickup truck. It looks like he had a large pole with the black flag attached to the back of that pickup truck on that pole. You can see it right here. It's in the center of the bed right there. And so that's one of the things, obviously, the FBI that's now leading the investigation is going to be looking at. The other thing that is interesting in this case, we're talking about a U.S. citizen who is also an Army veteran, right? We understand now he had a career in the Army. He served in Afghanistan in both human resources and IT capacities. He was also a realtor and a property manager in Texas before this all happened. So there's a lot of questions on when did he become radicalized? What was the motive here? Why he chose New Orleans? And was he indeed working with ISIS? And also the big question, Lester, and this has been going back and forth, were there others who had helped him? The FBI initially had said they were looking for co-conspirators. That might be changing.
And for him to be a domestic terrorist, honestly, somebody said it in the chat. You might be right about a domestic terrorist, but here's the problem. Like, if he's associated with ISIS, then he's an international terrorist. I mean, a foreign group. But domestic terrorist would have to be, I don't know, like some extremist group within America. Like, we'd have to be able to identify what group he's with, and the only group we've been able to identify him as is one of us. Sadly.
But it's still very fresh in the investigation, Lester.
Oh God, Ohio State for the win.
All right, Tom Yamas, thanks very much. Again, we're standing by. We expect to hear remarks at any moment by President Biden, who will be making his first public comments about this horrible tragedy. Let me go to Jesse Kirsch, who is also in New Orleans and gathering on this story as well. Jesse, what can you report?
Yeah, so Lester, we are just outside of the Superdome, which is set to host the Sugar Bowl, part of the college football playoff tomorrow, and then the Super Bowl. And as you can see, they have added further barriers along the border here tonight in a city that has a lot of questions facing it as far as security preparations ahead of New Year's Eve.
Hours after that bloody attack on Bourbon Street, tonight growing questions about the physical barriers used to secure the area. Devices known as bollards, typically short stainless steel posts, are often used in high-profile parts of cities and towns to help control crowds and vehicles. But early this morning on Bourbon Street, the bollards weren't there. New Orleans' mayor explained today that the system was in the midst of repairs.
Bollards.
That's crazy. An Army vet that worked in IT. And this guy goes crazy. We don't know for what reason he went crazy for. Like I said, we don't know. But on the day, it just so happened on this day, this city removes their barriers. I mean, huh? I don't know, man. That's a little bit too coincidental for me, but hey, everything's in speculation right now. And make sure to like the video, guys. Go to double tap that screen and like the video. Hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. We appreciate the support, man. And go ahead and share some of your ideas with me and what y'all think is going on.
We're not up because they are near completion, with the expectation of being completed, of course, by Super Bowl.
The game set to be played in New Orleans next month. The superintendent of police says other barriers like police vehicles and officers were in place to secure Bourbon Street on New Year's Eve. But video shows how the attacker drove right around a patrol car.
So we did indeed have a plan, but the terrorist defeated it.
Anything that is currently in the
terrorist defeated it is not the best wording. I mean, first off, yeah, it is crazy that the cop didn't just immediately hit that man as soon as he made that turn. The cop should have just immediately hit his gas and rammed him. And that'd have been that. So what was going on there? I mean, step one was to ram the guy, and somehow that the opportunity was missed.
in repair.
Right in front of an officer. So not only are the barriers gone, but this man pulls that turn right in front of an officer.
Had a backup replacement for last night.
Vehicles and officers were there where all of those ballasts have been. We had that, we knew. So we did have it. And like I said, in this particular case, terrorists just went all the way around up onto the sidewalk.
Was someone getting up on a sidewalk considered impossible or nearly impossible? Or was this not something you expected you would have to account for?
Yes, of course, it wasn't something we expected to account for.
New Orleans, the latest high-profile deadly ramming attack following the German Christmas market attack last month, the Berlin truck attack in 2016, and the one in Nice, France that same year. Jose Liris was visiting New Orleans and left the area just before the attack this morning.
The metal barricades were not up, just the standard plastic ones like you see there. There was police there at the entrance, a lot of police there, but the metal barricades were not up.
A city website showing what the new bollards may look like says the project is set to be completed next month. But a nationally televised college football playoff game is supposed to be played here tomorrow night. New Orleans City Council member Helena Moreno says the city is ready.
Do you think New Orleans can host a football game here this week safely?
I'm going to tell you this, that right now, so many resources are being deployed down to the city of New Orleans that no doubt about it, we will host a safe game tomorrow. Everything from federal resources, state resources, additional intelligence, like you name it. It's like that's all happening.
And Jesse, again, joining us live from New Orleans. We understand the concern about these bollards and that.
Well, I bet them Bears are going to be up then. Or sadly, a little too late, but I bet they will be up then. But all right, let's get into this. Well, Cybertruck blowing up at Trump Towers, which is pretty crazy. I did predict that they would try to take this man out with a bomb, but this was a pretty weak attempt in my opinion. So, but let's get right into it.
Now to another breaking news story, and I'm going to caution you. We are following this developing story. We want to be clear that we do not know anything that ties what I'm about to say, that story, to what we've been talking about in New Orleans. This is just a separate story that we're learning about. Authorities are investigating a vehicle fire outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas that left one person dead, injured several others. We believe the vehicle in question is a Cybertruck. At a press conference this afternoon, authorities did not have any information on the cause of that fire. They said they have many unanswered questions. Here's some of what they said moments ago.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the headline, they said, oh, there's 10 dead. And I'm like, damn, 10. But now, thank God, there's only, RIP to the one dead guy. But I'm sorry, one instead of 10 is way better headline. I'm going to be real with you. Because when I first read it, they were saying 10. So, thank God. But all right, man. Oh, yeah, make sure y'all like the video, man. Go ahead and double tap that video. If you have any question, comments, or jokes you want to share, just send it in a super chat, $1 and up. Good way to support the show and keep things going. Let's go, guys.
I know you're looking for a lot of answers, and ideally right now we just don't have a lot of answers. We're going to continue to work as hard as we can over the next 24 to 48 hours.
NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa is following this story and joins me now. So, Emily, we played that soundbite. What else do we know at this point about what happened in Las Vegas?
So I'll start with just kind of underscoring the outstanding questions at this point. There are still so many unknowns around the circumstances of the vehicle fire, including was this mechanical, accidental, intentional? Authorities would not weigh in on that. But we know that fire and police in Las Vegas responded to the valet section just outside, as you can see on your screen, of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. That's on the northern end of the Las Vegas Strip to a vehicle fire. The fire has since been put out, but they are encouraging people to avoid the area. We learned from.
I mean, the guy put fireworks in that mug. Like, let's be real. He definitely put fireworks in there. So, let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun with this, because there are definitely a couple of videos we can look at here. Just like this one.
Copy.
Damn. I feel like this is a way better video. Like, outside view is crazy. Boom. Fireworks and everything going all over the place. Yeah, I know, right? But let's get off this one right here. And then, well, there was a conspiracy theory, and well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say people were hating on Tesla, and they're trying to say that, oh no, Tesla actually does that on their own. They're dangerous cars and all that good stuff. And I'm like, look, I don't like EVs as much as the next guy, but no. Look at the bottom. That's Tesla, and then up top is that Cybertruck. Two different types of explosions, my friend.
Copy.
So we can already dispel that myth already, because, well, hey man, if it was a Tesla fire, it'd have just been, I guess, underneath the rim, and that'd have been, bad. But let's be real, it wouldn't have been like blowing up all over the place, a whole theatric. Like, look at this, man. Boom. Poor Cybertruck.
Copy.
I mean, like, for real. But all right, man. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get over to the next video, man. We do got some more for y'all, and I definitely want to go over and still change over to this H-1B visa. Yep, we're gonna get right into it, guys. Trust me. We're gonna have an open debate about this eventually. And who really needs to have this open debate? Elon, Vivek, and I think Eric Weinstein will also be a good candidate as well. So if we can get another guy to team up with him, that'd be a great debate that they can have. We can get to the bottom of this. We can see if there's a bias here, or as well Elon just calling out an uncomfortable truth. All right, let's get to it. Shout out PBD, man.
Imagine all the topics
would you like the video.
Would you have guessed that H-1B visa would have been the #1 topic that would create like a civil war on the conservatives, all eating each other, dog eat dog. No way, you're doing this, you're doing that. Democrats and the establishment had an incredible Christmas. Day one Christmas. They caused the division, Musk versus Trump, and it worked, and everybody fell for it. And by the way, if you're on the far right or the far left, you're not going to like this video. I'm going to give you a case on both sides, pro and against, and you say, no, I don't agree with you, it's totally fine. But let me give you some data here for you to be thinking about. What percentage of billion-dollar startups in America do you think were started by an immigrant? Again, I, an immigrant, not born in America. I came here legally. I came and started a business in America that became $1 billion. What percentage of all the $1 billion startups in America do you believe were started by an immigrant? You think it's 10%, 20%, 30%? What if I told you it's 55%? 55% of $1 billion startups in America was founded by an immigrant that wasn't born here? Yes. Do you want those jobs in America? Now, some of you guys may say, let them go back to their country. Do you think other people would have started it? That's not a job. That's a business. By the way, if I ask you Fortune 500 companies, what percentage of Fortune 500 companies in America were founded by an immigrant or their child? What percentage do you think it is? Top 500 biggest companies in America. You ready? 44.8%. Do we want those jobs? Who does that benefit? Americans. Now, do we also want the abuse of H-1B visa, where an Infosys had to pay $34 million, or Apple had to pay $25 million, or even Facebook or some of these companies? Of course not. The system is broken. It's got to get addressed. But I'm noticing the far right, a guy responds on Twitter and tells me, because I said, our founding fathers, he says, your founding fathers. Those are not your founding fathers. You're not from America. You're not an American. I said, as an American, what makes you think you're an American? Because you live in America? That's a very interesting community that's coming out. And they're being very vocal about it, that they want me to go back to Iran. It's interesting. It's an interesting debate. I want to hear from both sides. But that's what's causing a lot of people on the left and the establishment to say, oh, thank you so much, Santa, for giving us the greatest gift. Take back the Xbox. Take back the big screen TV. Take back the car my husband got me. Take back all of that stuff. All I wanted was a war. And these guys who won, and they just can't get along even after they just won. Thank you, Santa, for this amazing gift. We're going to talk about H-1B visas today.
Let's get into it.
Give value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. By the way, I got a bunch of data I want to get into. What country applies for H-1B the most? Where we ranked in the world in STEM against other countries? What the highest paying jobs in America are, yet the degrees that kids are going into, and what degrees are decreasing, which is very weird. And you have to realize this is a competition argument that everybody's making. Some want the jobs to go to Americans. Some are saying let it go to the best people. But regardless, we have to compete in math. We have to compete in engineering. We have to compete in STEM. If we're not, and we're getting psychology degrees instead of STEM degrees, the direction's going AI and technology, we're going to get our asses handed to us long term. But let's set that aside. Quotes. This is what some people said about H-1B for and against. Elon said, the reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of the H-1B. Take a big step back and F yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend.
Whoa, really? So the reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H-1B. Take a big step back and, well, fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. And I'm like, okay, Elon, bet. Please have that open debate with people, because I'm pretty sure there's some people who gonna make you look pretty stupid on this stance right here. Where I'm going like, now, bro, let's be real, Elon. Can we sit here and admit, you can admit that, yeah, if you hired an American worker, it'd have been harder to get that stuff off. I'm gonna be real with you. It'd have been more expensive. Okay, cool, we get that. But at least you done shown you was America first. Now, are you speaking because these people have talent, or are you speaking because it's cheaper? Because there's other visa programs that you could access to where you could actually get highly accommodated workers, without going over American workers, or I guess highly accommodated American workers.
Take a big step back and
acclimated.
F yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. The number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the US is far too low. Think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be from. That's Elon. By the way, a lot of people are like, well, this is why all he cares about is the money and cheap labor. He's not even in the top 20 of H-1B visas. But let's go to Steve Bannon. Strategist. A lot of people love to hear what this guy has to say. Let me be clear on H-1B. I want zero. This whole thing about, oh, they're only geniuses, H-1B visas. That's not what it's about. It's about taking American jobs and bringing over essentially what have become indentured servants at lower wages. The thing's a scam by the oligarchs in Silicon Valley to basically take jobs from American citizens, give them to what become indentured servants from foreign countries, and pay them less.
And I'm gonna be real with you, that's kind of how these temp agencies work in the factory. It even works on a lower level. We even explained this like when we was going on the whole immigration topic. It works on a lower level as well. First off, these companies can get away with one, not giving them basic like insurance and all that good stuff or benefits. And they can also get off on paying them less and treating them with less respect. I mean, let's be real. If you ever worked in a temp agency and you see how you got treated compared to those who were actually hired on, bro, it shouldn't even be right. It honestly should be a form of discrimination, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's part of competition of the job market.
Simple. I've long said the current H-1B system is badly broken and needs to be gutted. It shouldn't use a lottery. It should be based on pure merit. It shouldn't tether workers to just one corporation. Same principles I favor today. American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, a culture that celebrates the prom queen over math Olympia champ. or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. That's Vivek. Now, Ron DeSantis simply said, I don't support undercutting American wages. And when it comes to Trump, I want to read two of them. One of them is from March 3rd, 2016, in his interview with Megyn Kelly. And
make sure y'all like the video, man. We got over 100 of y'all in here, so go ahead and double tap that screen for me and hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going.
From today, in 2016, he said, I will end forever the use of the H-1B as a cheap labor program and institute an absolute requirement to hire American workers first for every visa and immigration program, no exception. So,
and that's what it was supposed to be about. It's like we had nothing. And I would just say we should get the O1 visa, the extended one visa, because we know this person is actually coming over here because they're the best of the best. We know they have like crazy accolades, like they have awards, international awards, instead of, corporations trying to take advantage of the visa program and trying to get cheap labor. Like, that's the problem. And the problem with Elon Musk defending it is that, just like Patrick Bet-David says, he's 21. He's out of everybody, ranking them all together, who uses the most H-1B visas, he is 21st, ranked 21st. There are 20 people above this man that are way worse offenders. So he's talking from a point where honestly he's not doing it as bad. There's people doing it way worse. So when we understand that, I kind of see where he's coming from it, because he may not be abusing it like the other corporations, but he needs to see the bigger picture here.
Absolute requirement to hire American workers first for every visa and immigration program, no exception. So he wants to make America first on hiring, right? Today, he said, I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer in the H-1B. I've used it many times. It's a great program. I've always liked the visas. That's his position today. So it seems like the party is split on it, or are they? Maybe it's just the fact that they want to make it tighter so there's no abuse, and there's some changes to simplify. But however, before we get into that, let's just kind of learn a little bit about the H-1B visa and how it works, okay? So when you think about H-1B visa, the definition is a non-immigrant visa allowing U.S. employees to hire foreign workers in specialty.
And I did hear an argument in the chat where they said, Americans, work in other foreign countries. And I would say this. These people are entry level at best. Some of these H-1B are entry level at best, and they get over here. You cannot be an entry level American. You really can't. You can't be fresh out of college and getting overseas jobs 9 times out of 10. I've heard it happen before, but I promise you 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be you. But apparently these guys can be entry level, just started out coding and all this good stuff, and they can pop into one of our high industries. An American like ourselves, we have to have experience to be able to go out there in another country and work and get paid high wages. Like, I know one of the homies in tech, bro, making $500,000 just out there in Thailand. He don't want to work in Thailand, but he's $500,000. But guess what? He's been doing this shit for years. And guess what? Go look up them jobs out there in them foreign countries. What do they ask for? They don't ask you for a visa. I know that. They ask for experience. But here, though, for some reason, we don't have the same standards as other countries put on Americans.
Occupations requiring advanced knowledge and a bachelor's degree or higher. This was created in 1990 under President Bush. Purpose was to address the skill shortages in critical industries, particularly STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And the key features of the H-1B visa, number one, eligibility. Specialty occupations requiring specific educational qualifications. 2, it's 3 years, initially extendable to up to 6 years with green card exceptions. 3, capping quotas, annual cap of 85,000 visas with 20,000 reserved for U.S.'s master's degree holders. 4, application process, employer files the LCA, submits form I-129, and worker applies through a U.S. embassy. 5, wage requirements, employers must pay H-1B holders the prevailing wages for their roles. And there's 4 levels. You'll notice here, level 1 is the lower entry level. Experience is 0 to 2 years. You would get a salary at the...
This is something that we don't do. This is something that they don't do in foreign countries, bro. They don't do this. They don't allow a level 1 entry level job. Actually, this is damn near offensive that they are doing this with the H-1B visa program. How much, bro, you don't understand how much people I know in many fields that are entry level and they're getting chosen over immigrants are getting chosen over them. And it's entry level. But if they was to ever try to go out there in their country and work a high level position, bro, or even an entry level position, they're not going. They're not going because these countries aren't selling out their people for level 1 positions. This is the problem. Y'all keep thinking that it's these higher positions. No, it even starts as low as entry level.
This level between $38,000 to $51,000 a year. 2, moderate 2 to 5 years of experience. In this area, experienced financial analyst, mid-level project coordinator is 51 to 65. Level 3, it's higher, 5 to 10 years of experience, 65 to 75. And level 4, 10 plus years, $78,000 to $90,000 a year. So part of the argument here, which makes sense, is it's cheaper labor.
And I promise you, you'd have to be an expert to get a job overseas. You would have to be an expert.
And hiring those positions in America. So, hey, I'd much rather hire these guys because, boom, they're cheaper than hiring American. This part, an absolute correct argument that they need to match the salaries to be the same. So the employer only hires somebody from IIT because they think the IIT engineer is going to be better than the MIT engineer, even though I have to pay them the same amount of money without a consulting firm taking 20% of half the salary.
Exactly. Because think about it. You can hire them for the same position, but one, you can legally get away with paying less. So at the same point, it's where I have to hold Elon accountable. Bro, show us that you've proven to pick the best people at SpaceX. Like, you didn't abuse it like the rest of the 20 people above you. Show us that you picked the best of the best. Since you want to die so hard on it, show us. Or were you just using it to save a couple million? I mean, well, or a couple billion in his case.
That's a whole separate conversation we'll get into. Number 6, portability. Workers can switch employers if proper filings are made. And 7, dual intent allows holders to apply for permanent residency while on the visa. Now, a part of the argument here happens when somebody is coming in and you give them the H-1B visa. The company sometimes bullies the employees with the fear of, if you don't do this, we're going to do this to you, because they feel like they made that investment. You, the employer, has to pay $10,000 to $20,000 to have them become legal so they can work here. So there is some abuse that happens there. So that's how it works. Now, the argument for it and against it, this is what you'll hear. Economic contribution and innovation, talent shortages in critical industries, STEM, which I'll give you the data here in a minute, competitiveness on the global stage, economic multiplier effect, dual intent, and long-term contribution. And in arguments against it, wage suppression, displacement of U.S. workers, exploitation of outsourcing firms. This is real, by the way. This happens. And these guys, there's a lot of bullies here. Companies like Infosys and TCS that file bulk applications, reducing opportunities for smaller firms. Abuse of third-party placement contracts have been well documented. You can look into this. It's all over the place. It's some of the lawsuits we talked about earlier. Lack of domestic workforce development and lottery system inefficiency.
And make sure y'all like the video, guys. Go and double tap that screen or the 3 dots up there in the corner, because we got about 160 on X and about 130 on YouTube, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Let's keep it going.
Instead of us choosing the best, it's you got to get lucky to come here, but maybe we didn't get the best one. Why not get the best one? Imagine if you're running a small business and you do 8 interviews. Imagine if the way of hiring one of them is a lottery system. Somebody draws it and one of the 8 gets hired. Instead of the best employee that you wanted was Mary, you get Bob. You wanted Mary, but it's a lottery system. Wouldn't you rather choose Mary over Bob? That would be the merit-based system. And last but not least, fraud and loopholes. This is the lawsuit we talked about earlier with Infosys, $34 million, Apple. Okay, so now Americans, we're typically known for being very competitive, right? We love to win. We love to be number one. America first, all that stuff. Let's look at some data. STEM. When you want to go into STEM, what's one of the most important subjects in school that typically India, Middle East, Asia is obsessed with, where America will rank 34th in? You know what it is? Math. Americans are no longer competing in math the way we did. Out of 80 countries on this OECD countries list, we placed 34th in math. That's horrible. We're 16th in science. That is terrible. By the way, then I look at the data to see what country, like, Dad, what do I do when I grow up? You go become whatever you want to be, babe. Go be a school teacher. Go be a philosopher. Go be a psychologist. Study fine arts. You know what other parents say? You're going into STEM. Oh, why are you judging me? Because one day you're going to have a wife and kids and life's going to be expensive and you have to be competitive. Let me follow my passion. Okay, honey, go to fine arts. Joey, leave her alone and him alone. You go get your fine arts degree, sweetheart. Do whatever you want to do. I believe in you. You get your fine arts degree. Mom, did you know the local museum only pays $32 grand a year? Those cheap bastards. How do you think, what do you think you do? Check this out with STEM. You ready? Percentage of total graduates in STEM fields. China, 41%. Russia, 37%. Germany, 36%. Iran, 33%. India, 30%. France, 26%. Mexico, 26%. You know where we are? 20%. China's 2xing us. Not only do that.
Now, and like I said, it's guys like PBD, Vivek, and Elon that are kind of writing this on a biased note. I'm like, yeah, I know y'all guys kind of, yeah, I get it. Y'all are the dreamers, right? We get it. But when these dreamers are honestly getting put over American citizens who bust their ass, who went in, some of these people that went into debt over this, and y'all choosing immigrants over them. I mean, like, bro, the whole argument should be null and voided. Like, we're done. You're right. H-1B should be dismantled. And we got the old one that nobody want to bring up, though, because why? It actually requires these people to show proof that they're the best in their industry, practice, or sport. Now we're gonna go ahead and go over to we're gonna go ahead and dive a little bit more into this Elon and the Cybertruck, because Elon Musk confirms terrorists just attacked Trump Towers with massive bomb detonation. Man, all right, let's get right into it, guys.
What's up, guys? This is Benny. I might not know much, but I know that this is not an accidental battery explosion inside of an electric vehicle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a bomb. We've been saying all day that this is a bomb. When we saw that there was a massive explosion outside of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas, we said, well, there's probably more to this than meets the eye, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is a actual detonation of a bomb inside of the trunk and the bed of this truck. Is a Cybertruck, ladies and gentlemen. We've been saying this all day, and now it has been confirmed true. Once again, this is what the explosion looked like. Incredible. It's not from a Hollywood movie. This is something that actually rocked the Las Vegas hotel, iconic Las Vegas Golden Tower Hotel, Trump in Vegas. This is the difference between a bomb, which is what's happening here, and a battery fire, which is what's happening here. The battery fire, obviously, is a slow burn. It starts from the undercarriage of the car and it moves up through the vehicle. This is a bomb, ladies and gentlemen, along with a bunch of other pyrotechnics, mortars, and fireworks stacked inside of the vehicle for maximum damage. And it did injure dozens of people. Ladies and gentlemen, now we know what actually happened. Elon Musk, of course, the creator and inventor of Tesla, the owner of Tesla, says it appears to be an act of terrorism, talking about the bomb that exploded at the Trump Hotel. This Cybertruck and F-150 suicide bombs in New Orleans were rented from Turo. Perhaps they are linked in some way. So what Elon Musk is saying is new information that the Cybertruck in Vegas was rented from the ride-share rental app Turo.
I mean, bad publicity for Turo, because even I use Turo, ironically, in Vegas, huh? But yeah, though, it is kind of crazy how, they rented them, ride-share. I mean, poor owners. How did I remember it? Bro, Turo, bro. It's the owner of the vehicles who buy these cars and go out there and put them on there. So the fact that that happened to that guy's poor Tesla and the other guy's car as well, that's tough. That is tough. But yeah, shout out Turo.
Which allows you to rent private vehicles with de minimis background checks, right? If you get a car from Avis or Enterprise, they're going to check your credit. They're going to, confirm your ID. Turo really doesn't do any of that. And so
now they confirm your ID, but check your credit. They do not.
Ladies and gentlemen, maybe this is a hack that terrorists have used now in order to attack the country. Elon Musk saying, we have confirmed that the explosion was caused by a very large firework and or bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck. This is unrelated to the vehicle itself. All vehicle telemetry was positive at the time of the explosion, meaning they can tell in a Tesla when something went wrong. The car is a computer on wheels. If you've ever been inside of a Tesla, you know that it has constantly tracking and videoing everything that happens. It has like a video camera system monitoring the vehicle at all times. So somebody putting in a bomb or somebody putting in like pyrotechnics into the back of the car, they'd be able to see that. I think we're just moments away from probably getting the video of the perpetrator. And we don't know who lit the bomb at the Trump Hotel, but this was an attack on the Trump Hotel. Elon Musk. The whole Tesla senior management team is investigating this matter right now. We will post more information as we learn anything. We've never seen anything like this, he says, of the Cybertruck blast and explosion.
That's what I'm saying. They try to do that man Elon dirty. It's like, no, that's not even how, like, one, it's a completely different model than the model that was catching on fire. And we already know the video, like, you guys are talking about. So, nah, this was definitely a terrorist that was just, doing the most. And I'm gonna be real with you. We don't know where this guy came from. We don't know his allegiance. Like, not like the New Orleans guy, like the, New Orleans driver. Yeah, whole army vet. We know his past a little bit, but this guy in the Cybertruck, we know nothing about. We just know that he blew himself up in a Cybertruck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this blast and explosion, as you can see here, was clearly something that was designed to harm and hurt those at the Trump Hotel. Maybe it is related because the same apps were used with the New Orleans attack. Of course, that attacker is an ISIS-related.
They tried to hit us with a 9/11, except with cars. Jeez.
Attacker, and he was able to murder 15 people before being gunned down by law enforcement. So this is a attack confirmed on the Trump Hotel on the iconic Trump property in Las Vegas, as you can see here, and as confirmed now fully on multiple networks. Let's go.
Let's talk about Las Vegas because this has been a sort of interesting development. The images of the Cybertruck parked outside the Las Vegas Trump property went viral. I think people thought it was an accident and then no one was hurt. And so there was a sort of bizarre symbolism and then it was a Cybertruck. It was out Trump. As it's developed, it seems that this is being taken far more seriously. What have we learned about what authorities know and how they're investigating this?
Right, Chris. So according to the reporting of myself, my colleagues Andrew Blankstein and Kelly O'Donnell, right now, 3 senior U.S. law enforcement officials say that this explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck, kind of in the portico there where you saw that smoke rising from in front of Trump's property in Las Vegas, is being investigated, at least initially, as a potential act of terrorism, and that it was, quote, intentional. And there was a...
So the terrorism attack at the Trump Hotel is completely intentional. There was a bomb that was detonated and exploded there inside of the vehicle. This is something that now has been reported out by federal law enforcement that's looking into this. Of course, if they can do this at a Trump property, is this another attack on President Trump, right? I mean, the footage is absolutely...
Well, seeing that Trump was nowhere near the property, I think it was just, man, I ain't gonna lie, that is a bit weird. It's a bit symbolism. Yeah, people can commit these attacks for symbolic reasons. It's just like, man, don't you think you'd a suicide bomb over something that really wasn't going to do anything? Or maybe he miscalculated on how much explosions he put in that car. Maybe he miscalculated or something, because what do you think he was going to do with that? Like, honestly. And then who was he going for? Like, nobody in Trump's camp was around there, honestly, to be hurt, except for employees. And that's a sad thing. But I mean, I'm talking about in his presidential cabinet.
Bone chilling. And I think we'll probably get more footage as we are able to develop the story. Check out this reporting.
Revealed what was inside the truck: explosives that included fireworks, gas tanks, and camping fuel. And authorities believe that was connected to a detonation system controlled by the driver.
Like
We're also hearing this same sentiment from Elon Musk, who tweeted out that they have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and/or a...
And shout out my man Michael Cohen. Man, shout out my man Mike, bro. He said blast resistant Cybertruck commercial out soon. I mean, god damn it, man, that's too damn funny. It's resistant though. Hey man, it's good. I guess we'll give him a reason to charge an extra 10,000 or so. And shout out Seth Troutman. Hey, Seth and everyone shaking my head. Here we go again. Even if Trump wasn't there, could have been test run, etc. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It could have been a symbol. It could have been a symbol to Trump, like, boy, watch where you step, because we are willing to try to get you on your property. I mean, well, the guy trying to shoot him at Mar-a-Lago. Now some guy pulling up to one of his many, many properties or many, many hotels and blowing themselves outside of it, or blowing themselves up outside of it. Yeah, what's going on? It kind of seems like they're trying to do some like terroristic acts on Trump's property. Now with the whole Orleans thing, that one, it catches my I have a bit more wise on that one. Like, believe it or not, the whole Trump thing, I can rationalize that way easier than this whole New Orleans thing, which we'll get into in a second as well.
Bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. So he was clear to say that this was not an issue with the Cybertruck. And the sheriff also earlier said that they are checking for secondary devices. They're investigating many different leads, but he was clear to say that there does not appear to be any further threat to the Las Vegas community.
So this is CNN stating that their reporting proves that this was a detonation system that.
And shout out Mike and Seth, man. We got like about 48 more super chats. We'll go ahead and open up the call-in line, man. We appreciate the support here at S.E.T Media. And like I said, man, make sure you support the show, man. Just $1 and up. We'll go ahead and read your super chat out loud and show you and shout you out and show you that support. And also put your name at the top, just like I'm about to do to my Steph and Mike, because those are both members, and we appreciate y'all support here at S.E.T Media.
That blew up gas tanks inside of the truck, which is exactly what we said it looked like from the moment that we saw the footage. Elon Musk reveals what caused huge Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside a Trump hotel in Vegas. ISIS rampage. Insider
Mike, I'm looking forward to that commercial.
The attacks are linked. They are linked. I guess you could say this prima facie because they're happening on the exact same day, within hours of each other, using the exact same vehicle type, right? A large electric truck. They're using electric trucks, and they're attacking targets that have iconography to America, like President Trump's building here, like Bourbon Street in New Orleans. These are Islamic, Muslim.
And make sure y'all like the video, guys. We got over 100 of y'all in here, man. So go ahead and double tap that screen, like the video, or hit the 3 dots up there in the corner. And like I said, any question, comments, or joke, $1 and up, we'll read out that super chat for you. We appreciate the support, guys.
Terrorists. There's an ongoing raid right now, in fact, at the terrorist's home. You can see right here. SWAT teams are at the Houston home of the New Orleans attacker, Shahmoud Din Jabbar. Police have evacuated several people, including children. Drone captures a man outside of the Houston home of the New Orleans attacker. Suspects with his hands up. SWAT issues command. So you can see here they are fully raiding the house of this individual, who according to his friends or next of kin, has been reported out to have been become a total and complete radical, Islamic radical, lived down the street from the mosque and was driving around with an ISIS flag in the back of his truck. Speaking of trucks, this is, of course, why the Tesla Cybertruck would never have exploded that way, because the battery lays flat against the bed of the truck and is decentralized. And so
here's the thing. They didn't really change the design too much because, it kind of does the same thing in this video right here, which I'm about to show you, the Tesla truck. Well, the Tesla truck and I guess the Model S, right? Big difference. Kaboom. This one, the battery caught on fire. And as he said, where does the battery sit? Under the bed. It ain't really too much of a design difference. I'm gonna be real with you. So, and the way the battery design is, I don't even think it got that type of power to blow up the car like that. But yeah, but it can start a slight fire under there, and it can catch fire. But explode, no. Catch fire, sure. Why not? Explode, yeah. Ain't no way. One more time, though. One more time. Boom. Explosion. Battery malfunction. There you go. Now that we know.
Copy.
So, of course, the burn from inside of a electric vehicle does not look like this. It never explodes like that. There's plenty of videos of Teslas and the batteries do start on fire. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying they burn in a very specific way. They don't burn like this. They burn like this. And Elon Musk now confirming, yes, this was a bomb in the back of the truck. Truck used in New Orleans terror attack, Cybertruck. that was used, likely a terror attack in Vegas, were both rented via Turo. I know this app. I needed to rent a car on it one time. I used the app. I can't remember if they took my driver's license or not. It was like, pretty much connecting a dude who had a car that I could just, I punched a few buttons and I was able to go pick up the car. So probably a pretty easy way to get your hands on a vehicle and then to use that vehicle to kill Americans. Yeah, it is a.
All right, so the guy in New Orleans crashed out a truck, a nice truck, because if you were looking at the truck on the footage, I mean, that was a pretty new looking truck, tinted out, all that wild stuff. So yeah, and that means so. This is the best thing about Turo, because guess what? I can tell you for sure that you have to turn in, ID information. You even got to turn in that you got insurance. So yeah, these people, 1, had IDs, 2, had insurance. Who the hell were these people? Because obviously we could identify them. We just do deeper research. Or if Turo want to release that information for us, which they will, if they know it's good for them. And shout out Big T, man. He said, but we thinking citizen or deep state, So like I said, last guy, military vet, they both use the Toro app, so they both have to have had ID. So was this a planned deep state attack? Because, just because 1, Trump was affected, and 2, random American citizens were affected. Or like I said, we can just think crazy citizens who just said F Trump, highly liberal, F Trump, blew himself up, highly liberal, or hates America secretly, or he was, I don't know, radicalized through ISIS or brainwashed or whatever and committed that act, even though he used to be an army vet. It's really hard to say. We could really take this in both directions. Shout out Big T, man. Appreciate the support, my man.
Scary time. Didn't think that 2025 would start out this way, but ladies and gentlemen, you knew that all these demons would do anything to keep America in fear and crippled. Police are now investigating the Trump Hotel attack as an act of terror, ladies and gentlemen. And Elon Musk has confirmed it. This was a terrorist attack at the Trump Hotel. I'll say this in closing, and I'm going to stick by this. America is under attack. The most important question in the country right now is how many hundreds of FBI counterterrorism agents were reassigned to hunt peaceful January 6 protesters while terrorists poured into our country to organize and kill us. This is the real crime. The people who weaponized our justice system and utilized for political purposes our law enforcement, they need to be prosecuted and prosecuted immediately, and we must get Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth.
So apparently, yes, both these guys used Toro. Both of them, I guess, allegedly, one had the ISIS flag in there. They're trying to say the other one was an ISIS member as well, or had allegiance to ISIS as well. So, like I said, things are going to come out. We're going to keep, we're going to go ahead and stay on top of this story. Don't worry. As soon as it comes out, we'll go ahead and release it. Just like right now. All right, the dark reason why the FBI keeps lying about the New Year Eve ISIS terrorist attack. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, when did ISIS get to this man? Because we had him for a good minute. So what the heck? When did ISIS come into the picture? When did ISIS get into the picture? When did they, radicalize this man? I want to know. I need to know. Because, man, how can we avoid it? Anything to avoid that.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Today has been a very dark start to 2025 and a bloody one at that. 15 Americans are dead after an ISIS terrorist rammed into them with a rented electric Ford truck with an ISIS flag hanging off the back. We should mourn those Americans, and we should start asking some severe questions like who was responsible and why didn't we stop this terrorist before they were able to kill Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, this should be some of the major questions of our federal law enforcement, like the FBI, who have spent the better part of the last 4 years hunting down innocent MAGA grandmothers who waved American flags during January 6th and putting their agents inside of Catholic masses in order to try and attack Christians and locking up grandmothers praying outside of abortion clinics. The FBI is a sick and rotted to the core organization, but their initial instinct after this attack, with dead Americans still laying in the street, is to lie to the American people. And it is totally and completely unforgivable. It's also unsustainable. And I'm going to detail for you some of the dark and very strange lies that the FBI told in the aftermath of the terrorist attack in New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen. Never forget that the terrorists slaughtered 15 Americans, and the FBI's initial immediate instinct was to lie about every single detail. Nothing they said was true. They did this to protect a dead ISIS terrorist's feelings. They did nothing to protect Americans. This is going viral right now, and for good reason. This is what we know so far, ladies and gentlemen. A ISIS terrorist named Shamoud Din Jabbar killed 15 people when a rented electric vehicle that had just recently entered the country from Mexico, rented on a vehicle rental system called Turo,
the Ford electric
mowed down people, revelers in New Year's Eve in Bourbon Street in New Orleans. 42-year-old man from Houston, Texas. He is an American citizen. He did work for the Defense Department. He was in the Army and worked at Deloitte, a defense contractor. So I think there are going to have to be some really tough questions about who knew what about this guy. Anyway, he had an ISIS flag on the back of his vehicle. Yet, even though the FBI called this an act of terrorism in their statement of release, the same time the statement was going out early.
See, and this is what I'm saying. I think he's missing a bit of information. Like, yo, he used to be an Army vet. So trust me, if it wasn't for that, act of terrorism would have been it'd have been easy. But then when you throw in Army vet, it's like, all right, hold on, bro. Is this a little deeper? Like, what's going on here? It would have been real easy to name this man ISIS terrorist if at first he wasn't an American soldier in IT, doing HR work and all that good stuff. He was in Afghanistan fighting for us. I mean, ironically, but bro, it's hard to make that make sense as, oh yeah, he was just this terrorist. What the hell happened to this guy? Wow, how come he was working for us if he was so anti-American? How you go from protecting Americans to running them over in the EV?
This morning at 10 a.m. saying this was a terrorist attack. The FBI special agent in charge, okay, so this is literally the top FBI position inside of the New Orleans region, was saying it's not a terrorist attack, even though they had discovered IEDs and explosives on site, even though they had a literal ISIS flag on the back of the vehicle. That's an ISIS flag right there. That's an ISIS flag. These are IEDs. These are explosives. And the entire vehicle is packed with tactical gear and firearms.
And shout out my man Big T, because now we are 47 super chats away from opening the call-in line, man. Appreciate the support, man. Like I said, just go ahead and send in $1 and up, with a question, comment, joke. Go ahead and read it out loud, man. We appreciate you for supporting the show. If not, man, go ahead and double tap that screen, like the video.
The vehicle's obviously been used as a weapon. This is the actual terrorist. Yet the initial commentary from the FBI was, this is not a terrorist attack. Listen to this.
Said we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on.
This is the special agent in charge of the FBI. You might note that she has a nose ring. Okay, nothing has nose rings. I have employees who have nose rings, but those employees are creatives, artists, and videographers. They're not FBI agents in charge of millions and millions of people. There's like blatantly disrespectful and unprofessional. I'm sorry, I just say it.
I mean, let's be real though. Let's be real. The nose ring is a bit wild. Everybody was commenting on her nose ring. Oh, she's trying to say it's not a terrorist attack. This is some BLM BS. Just because she's a black woman with a nose ring telling you that it's not terrorism. I mean, guys, like my conservative white brothers, chill out for a little bit. Sit down, because like I said, the waters get a little muddy when you go ahead and add U.S. vet in there. All right. So let's get the full facts out. Let's find out what happened.